What if everything you thought you knew about self-control was wrong? It's time to rethink the traditional perception of self-control. It's often seen as a constant struggle, a never-ending tug-of-war between desire and discipline. We're led to believe that it's all about sacrifice, about giving up what we want for what we need. But what if we told you that this perception is not entirely accurate? Research offers a refreshing perspective. It suggests that individuals with good self-control aren't simply better at resisting temptation. Rather, they navigate life in a way that they encounter fewer temptations. They're not constantly battling against their desires. Instead, they've arranged their lives to minimize the need for struggle and sacrifice. The real story of self-control is not about grim determination or austere self-denial. It's about smart strategies and positive habits. So, contrary to popular belief, self-discipline is not synonymous with grim sacrifice. High self-control is linked to various positive outcomes. But how does it work? It's a question that has intrigued researchers and psychologists for years. When we delve into the benefits of high self-control, the list is impressive. It includes academic success, mental well-being, improved relationships, and reduced impulsive behaviors. Picture a student who consistently performs well in school, or an individual who maintains harmonious relationships and exhibits calmness in the face of adversity. These are people who have mastered the art of self-control. But if you think that high self-control is all about gritting your teeth and resisting temptation, you might be surprised. The story is a bit more nuanced than that. Enter the concept of ego depletion. This is a theory that suggests that our self-control or willpower is finite and can be used up. Imagine running a mental marathon every day, constantly battling urges and temptations. This would lead to mental fatigue, wouldn't it? This is what ego depletion is all about. However, when we look at individuals with high self-control, we see a different scenario. These individuals aren't constantly battling their desires. In fact, a German study found that those with high self-control were more susceptible to ego depletion. This suggests that they don't rely on willpower alone to control their impulses. So, what's their secret? The answer is surprisingly simple yet profound. They avoid temptation altogether. Instead of constantly resisting the urge to eat that piece of cake, they simply don't bring the cake home from the grocery store. Instead of fighting the temptation to scroll through social media, they turn off notifications or keep their phone in another room. They set themselves up for success by eliminating the source of temptation. This approach to self-control is far less taxing and far more efficient. It's not about having an iron will, but about making smart choices that minimize the opportunity for temptation. And so, the secret of high self-control lies not in resisting temptation, but in avoiding it altogether. It's about choosing an environment where success is the easiest option and where the path of least resistance leads to the best outcome. Opening: how do habits factor into self-control? In the fascinating world of self-regulation, habits play a starring role. They're the unsung heroes of our daily lives, guiding our actions with a subtlety we often overlook. And when it comes to self-control, they hold even more significance. Studies have offered intriguing insights into the role of habits in self-control. These research efforts reveal that individuals with high self-control tend to lean heavily on automatic, habitual behaviors. Imagine a well-oiled machine operating smoothly, without the need for constant manual intervention. That's what it's like for these individuals. Their lives aren't a series of arduous battles against temptation. Instead, they've designed their lives in such a way that they naturally gravitate towards beneficial habits. Take, for instance, daily routines. Those with high self-control often have robust routines for activities like exercise, meditation, and even their diet. They might be more likely to hit the gym first thing in the morning or meditate before bed. And when it comes to eating, they're not constantly wrestling with cravings for unhealthy snacks. Instead, they've nurtured healthier eating habits that make choosing a salad over a burger feel like the most natural thing in the world. But it's not just about what they do, it's also about what they avoid. Good self-controllers are adept at sidestepping situations where temptations might lurk. They might avoid walking past their favorite bakery if they're trying to cut down on sugar, or steer clear of the electronics store if they're saving money. By reducing their exposure to temptation, they decrease the need for willpower and make self-control feel effortless. In essence, they've turned self-control into a habit. It's no longer a question of summoning willpower in the face of temptation. It's about crafting a lifestyle that naturally supports their goals and values. So, the role of habits in self-control is twofold. They help individuals steer towards beneficial behaviors and away from potential pitfalls. They're the navigational system guiding the journey of self-control, making the ride smoother and less dependent on willpower. Closing. Stable habits and routines play a crucial role in effortless self-control. Scene script. Trait self-control impacts various aspects of life, but how does it vary across different domains? Well, research has found that the influence of trait self-control is not uniform across all areas of life. It has the most potent effects in domains like work and school behavior. In these settings, individuals with high self-control are more likely to excel, showing better performance, greater focus, and stronger resilience in the face of challenges. This doesn't mean, however, that self-control is an all-purpose inhibiting mechanism. It's not about repressing desires or constantly battling temptations. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's about strategically employing self-control to avoid the need for constant, effortful resistance. This is where the concept of meta-self-control comes into play. Meta-self-control is essentially self-control about self-control. It's the ability to prevent the need for effortful self-control in the first place. It's about using strategies that minimize the potential for temptation, thereby reducing the need for resistance. So, rather than fighting off the desire to eat a chocolate bar, those with high trait self-control might choose not to buy chocolate at all, thus eliminating the source of temptation. Successful self-controllers employ these meta-regulation strategies, using their self-control in a more proactive, strategic manner. By avoiding temptations altogether, they manage their self-regulatory resources more effectively. This minimizes the depletion of willpower, allowing them to maintain high levels of self-control without the associated mental fatigue. One could say that the real power of self-control lies not in resistance but in anticipation. It's about foreseeing potential pitfalls and planning accordingly. This way, self-control becomes less about sacrifice and struggle, and more about smart strategy and foresight. By adopting such an approach, individuals with high trait self-control can achieve positive outcomes across various life domains, from personal health and well-being to academic and professional success. They experience less stress, enjoy better relationships, and generally have a higher quality of life. Effortless self-control, driven by anticipation and meta-regulation, plays a crucial role in achieving positive outcomes across various life domains. And that, in essence, is the power of trait self-control. It's not about battling against desires, but rather it's about navigating life in a way that makes the journey smoother and more fulfilling. What's the secret to the lives of individuals with high self-control? This is the question that has intrigued many, and the answer might surprise you. It's not about a constant battle against temptation. Instead, it's about a strategic, effortless navigation through life. High self-control is not synonymous with a constant struggle. In contrast to the common perception, it's not about resisting temptation at every turn. Individuals with high self-control have mastered the art of avoiding temptation in their daily lives. They've learned to sidestep situations that may challenge their self-discipline, thus reducing the need for constant resistance. It's like walking around the pothole rather than trying to jump over it. Now, let's talk about habits. Good self-controllers have understood the power of stable habits and routines. They've harnessed this power to make their journey towards self-control more effortless. They lean towards automatic habitual behaviors that serve their goals. For instance, they've developed stronger exercise routines and healthier eating habits. It's not about willpower, it's about routine. What's fascinating is how these individuals strategically employ self-control. They don't wait until the temptation is in front of them. Instead, they use what we call meta self-control. They anticipate potential temptations and make strategic decisions to avoid them altogether. This approach helps them manage their self-regulatory resources effectively, minimizing the depletion of willpower. It's like seeing the storm on the horizon and deciding to change course, rather than trying to sail through it. In essence, the secret life of individuals with high self-control is rooted in their ability to avoid temptation, build stable habits, and strategically employ self-control. It's not about being stronger or tougher, but about being smarter and more strategic. It's about understanding oneself, predicting potential challenges, and making decisions that make life easier and more fulfilling. The secret to high self-control is not a constant battle against temptation, but a strategic, effortless navigation through life.